How many of you, at some point in your life, have failed at doing something? Well, if you're being honest with yourself, there should not be a single person out there who hasn't failed or been defeated in some way, shape, or form. The unfortunate thing is that a lot of us don't know that defeat is not a bad thing that happens to us. In fact, it's a great thing and a humbling experience. We seem to be afraid of failure. I think mostly because we don't know how it works to our advantage every time we get to go through that experience. Because it is advantageous to you. Why is that? How, I can hear you ask. Well, it's because every time you lose, you will instinctively make adjustments so that next time you try that same thing, you'll just be better at it. This is something you can't help but to do. It's a part of being human that we have this ability to correct our behaviors in small ways that can make such a great difference. Anyone who plays video games can tell you how simple of a concept this is. How many times have you gone up to a boss battle and lost? So you make adjustments to your approach. Maybe you lose again, so you make a few more adjustments, until eventually you win. Well, let me tell you, life is no different in this regard. Losing allows us to learn what works and what doesn't. It teaches you about the entire experience as a whole. Consider if all you did was win. The only thing that you would learn is what worked. But honestly, you're only getting about half the learning lesson that losing teaches you. The problem is that most of us are taught that losing is a bad thing and something to be avoided. So that at the same time you decide to not even try new things because maybe you'll lose. Maybe it won't work out the way that you wanted it to. We restrict our own abilities. We talk ourselves out of doing things out of this fear. And it's irrational when you understand that failure is the greatest teacher of all. Not only that, when you know how to manipulate a loss to your advantage, there is no possible way that you can't win. So long as you make adjustments to what you're learning, keep trying. Winning is an inevitability. This is a law of the universe. A lot of you have even heard the great Albert Einstein quote, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again while expecting a different result." I think what he really meant by this is that by not learning from your mistakes and not making these adjustments based off of a defeat, you might as well just be insane. This is the same man who failed an entrance exam and couldn't get into school. The same man who was told he was going nowhere and was going to do nothing in his life. The same man whose own peers and family members had no faith in him. But you know who he is, don't you? This is a man who never gave up, who never stopped trying in spite of all of his great failures in life, in spite of anything anyone had to say to him. A man who kept making adjustments when something just didn't feel right to him. A man who kept pushing forward in pursuit of being the person he knew he was. Now maybe you and I don't have his IQ levels, but we do have the same knowledge that he had about defeat. Don't be afraid to try something new or different. Don't be afraid to challenge the world in spite of maybe losing. Failure is the starting line to greatness. Because anyone who is great in any way, they are only great in the same manner that they have also lost. This is how we grow, how we become better, and by making small adjustments to our approach to life, there is no possible version of you that can't win. Start looking at these losses as if they were wins, because they are. You get a great lesson and a fantastic experience that just makes you better at doing what you do. There is no failure if you look at it as nothing more than a temporary defeat. Learn from it, become better by it, grow because of it, and you will win every single time. So stay humble and do selfless things. Thanks for listening.